Ghost has a new album out, so I want to pose the question, are they breaking new ground or just playing it safe? This band is kind of an anomaly. On the surface, they look like some evil-sounding black metal band, but they sound like the kind of band that would have had a hit single during this montage, played in some 80s action movie. I guess they were kind of a metal band at first. I thought a few of the songs from their debut album, Opus Eponymous, sounded a little bit like Merciful Fate. Plus that album has some very satanic lyrics. The next album, Infestatissimum, or however you pronounce it, was just as dark. It had songs like Year Zero, but the music started to sound catchy. They reached their peak with Meliora, which is probably their best album. Before I continue, let me know what you think is their best album. I think it's this one, Meliora. Maybe yours is different, so comment below. Afterwards, they start to move into a hard rock sound with Prequel, and they went full 80s rock with the next album, Impera. This brings us to Skeletá, the new album. The album continues with the sound they had on Impera, and also brought back some of the older sound from the first album. There's also a big influence from many different classic rock bands, so I will be dropping a lot of names as I go through the album tracks. Most of the singles are in the front half of the album, but the singles weren't my favorites. There was one deep cut I thought was the best song on the album, so stick around, I will reveal what that is later on. The album opens with Peace Feel. It starts with some church music. It hits you with some Def Leppard sounding guitar riffs and a chorus that sounds like Journey's Separate Ways. Followed by more of that Impera-style hard rock, as well as some Queen-inspired guitar licks. That won't be the last time I mention Queen, by the way. Lacrima is a heavier song with some Opus Eponymous style guitar riffs and arena rock hooks with a catchy chorus. The song also features some cool Brian May style guitar licks.
So I can build up 3-part harmonies, and that goes like this.
This makes it one of the more memorable songs. Satanize is probably the catchiest song with the satanic undertones ever released. With some 80s style hard rock guitar riffs, followed by some prog rock keyboards. Guiding Lights is a power ballad very reminiscent of He Is from Meliora, with a bit more of that 80s hard rock sound. It has some big vocals with a very glam metal sounding guitar solo. De Profundis Borealis appears to be another ballad at first, but actually takes a sharp turn with a faster rhythm and some heavy metal style galloping guitar riffs that bring back the sound of their earlier albums, except with catchier hooks, powerful drums, and darker vocals. Cenotaph sounds like an Impera era song with Meliora era guitar tone, and that adds in more of those Queen vibes and 70s glam rock gallop. By the way, there was a specific Queen song that this song reminded me of. I couldn't think of it, so if you know what I'm talking about, drop a comment below. But back to the album, Misilia Amori is like a Dokken song with lyrics that sound like something Kiss would write. It includes a guitar solo that sounds like it came from the 80s. Marks of the Evil One is one of those song titles you expect Merciful Fate, but you get Journey instead. I still like the song, especially the cool proggy keyboards in the second half. But now we get to my favorite song on the album. This is Umbra. It's my favorite song because they packed in so many 80s influences into one song. The intro sounds like some Sammy Hagar era Van Halen going into some Motley Crue style guitar riffs with a drum beat with enough cowbell to warrant the obligatory Loyster Cult reference.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
That's not all. They go even further with some faster rhythms and some Raymond Zarek sounding keyboards and some groovy Boston sounding rhythms. And at this point I'm just name dropping random bands because there were so many different influences. But I can't help liking the song as it brought back lots of nostalgia for me. This brings us to the album closer, Excelsis, which is ballad number 2. Picks up the pace a little in the second half. I thought it was kind of sappy. Didn't have the same highs as some of the other songs, but you can't have everything. Now for my final thoughts. I think the best thing about this album is that it brought back a lot of nostalgia, as I can hear many influence from different classic rock bands that I won't mention again because I'm just going to be listing off so many bands. The album is also filled with hooks and songs that are catchy, So even if you listen to the album once or twice, you'll feel the songs are very recognizable. They're also doing something many bands do, and that's they take some elements from their old sound and they bring them into their new sound. That was apparent on a few tracks where I thought they were using the Opus Eponymous guitar tone with songs with the Impera vibe. Then the band itself remains nameless, which is a shame because this band is made up of some really good musicians who don't get the credit they deserve because no one knows who they are. Then there's the fact that they're able to write catchy music, which is still kind of dark and heavy, and they pull off the amazing feat of being a metal band and not being a metal band at the same time. In other words, they're like Schrödinger's metal band.
Just like Schrödinger's cat, your potential relationship with Leonard right now can be thought of as both good and bad.
But with that being said, it's not a perfect album, as their retro influences can be seen as a lack of originality and playing it safe, not to mention the blatant separate ways sound on the song Peacefield.
Your love, bright as the starlight, oh child.
But I have a feeling they're going to get a free pass on that, whereas other bands would probably get blasted online for even attempting to do that. Then there's the fact that it was kind of predictable, and it seems they're not willing to take any chances. But with that being said, I still think it's a solid Ghost album. It's on par with the last one, Impera. My score is 8.5 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this album. Check out my review of the previous album, Impera. I'm going to stick to it right there from a few years ago. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please like this video. Helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.